Man, we on camera, man. We paying, so we gonna be on YouTube.
Yes, this is going to be public. And at this time, it will remain public. So please don't do anything that you don't want someone to see 5 years from now. During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights: the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to the indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors, the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you, the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf, the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense, the right to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release. Those bonds may be cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond and fees in cash to the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office will hold the cash and return it at the end of the case. If you use a commercial bonding company, someone will have to pay a fee to the company for their service. The fee will not be returned. I don't know what fee will be charged, but it is usually a percentage of the bond. Finally, if you use property, the property will need to have a value that is at least 3 times, the net equity is at least 3 times the amount of the total bond. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. This special condition will be provided to you in a separate form. You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail. If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you could remain in jail until your trial. You could also receive additional felony charges. It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bail at this time. Whether bail is appropriate in your case will be determined or reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you. The standard at this stage is very low. A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime occurred. Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing. However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived. You will receive a notice at the address that you give of your next court date. Now, finally, I need everyone to raise their right hand. Do you swear or affirm that any statements you make during this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Okay. Okay, we're ready to start with the women.
Alexander. Arnold. No. Come here. stand in front of the door.
Good morning. Are you Miss Arnold?
Yes.
Miss Arnold, you've been charged with one count of aggravated assault, and it appeared on your warrant that there was another count of simple battery, but that's not been reflected on your bond order. So I'm setting a bond of $10,000 on the aggravated assault charge. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
I don't know.
Put the mask on.
I'm also setting a preliminary hearing date for March 15th at 8:30 in the morning. It's going to say courtroom 201, but that's going to be a Zoom hearing like we're having here today. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
You said if I'm qualified for one?
Okay. You do qualify, ma'am. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me? Okay, you're free to go back, ma'am.
One of us called.
Tell me your name, ma'am. Are you Miss Collier?
Yes,
Okay, Miss Collier, you've been charged with one count of criminal trespass and one count of obstructing an officer. I've set the bond at both of these for $1,000 each. So there's a total bond of $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
yes, or no?
No. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date, ma'am, for March 16th. And it's going to say it's 8:30 in the morning. And it's going to say Zoom, courtroom 201, but it's a Zoom hearing. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Say again, I can't hear you. Do you want a court appointment? She doesn't know you're on.
Okay. Ma'am, you can hire your own lawyer, or you can ask me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer.
She wants to be qualified, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you, Ms. Collier. And that lawyer will contact you. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Right.
Ms. Cooper, you've been charged with 2 counts of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. And essentially, they've charged you with possession of marijuana as it relates to the 2 separate backpacks. I've set the bond for each of those offenses at $10,000 apiece. And I've set the bond for the use or possession of a drug-related object at $1,500. So that's the total bond of $21,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Hire my own lawyer.
I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date, ma'am, for March 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That's going to be, as I've said before, it's going to say courtroom 201, but right now it's going to be over Zoom here like we're having here today. Do you have any questions of me?
Could you repeat the bond, please?
Okay, the total bond is gonna be $21,500. There are gonna be fees that are gonna be added that the sheriff's department is required to add by law. And so I don't know the total amount. It'll be a little bit more than 21,000, but they have to add those fees. You understand that?
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, that's it.
Okay, you're free to go back, ma'am.
Right there. Mr. Word.
Tell me your last name, ma'am.
Ferrero.
Okay, ma'am, you've been charged with one count of a window tint violation that's been set by schedule automatically at $500. Also been charged with two counts of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, which these are both felonies and it's related to appeals, it appears to be. So I've set the bond for each of those counts at $5,000 a piece. For your total bond, it's going to be $10,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, man?
Yes.
Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Hire my own.
Okay. I'm also setting a preliminary hearing date, ma'am, for March 15th at 8:30 in the morning. And that's going to be by Zoom, but it's going to say courtroom 201.
Okay. Thank you. No, no question.
Okay. You have any questions? All right.
No.
All right. You're free to go back, ma'am. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Dublin Laurie.
Okay, Miss Laura, you've been charged with one count of criminal trespass and one count of family violence battery. I've set the bond for both of those offenses at $5,000, which is a total bond of $10,000. And I've set a stay away provision to stay away from Destiny Nichols. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to also set a preliminary hearing date for March 16th.
I'm sorry.
March 16th, 3:16. I hear a buzzing in the background, and I'm
Okay. You said
March,
March
March 16th,
6th.
1/6.
Okay.
And that date is going to be waived if you bond out. You plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'm not sure. Hire my own.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
Yes, you said I have to stay away from Destiny. My name is on the lease. Do I not go back to the house period, or do we both not go back to the house?
Well, if that person has established a residence there, then currently you would have to find another place to live if that person does not voluntarily leave. Make arrangements with the sheriff's department as you're bonding out so that they will have someone there to help you retrieve your items if that person is intending to stay there. Sheriff's department is not going to be there all day. It's just going to be something for you to get the stuff that you need in order to conduct your sort of daily business. The stay away provision can be removed, but currently, because the way that you and I are interacting is because of some alleged incident that may have taken place, we take precaution that you don't bond out and then everything just starts all over again. Okay. So that's the reasoning behind it. So other people can get involved. There can be reasonable minds. All of that stuff can be worked out. But at this point, those are the conditions. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back. Are you Miss Miller?
Yes, sir.
Miss Miller, you've been charged with two misdemeanor driving offenses. One is looks like not possessing a license. The bond is automatically set at $1,000 for that, and improper backing. The bond is also automatically set at $500 for that. So a total bond of $1,500. You believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date at March 16th, but that date is going to be waived automatically upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Let's see if I qualify for the appointment.
Okay. Okay, ma'am, I'm going to find that you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Good morning. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Toya Mitchell.
Miss Mitchell, you've been charged with one count of simple battery. I've set the bond at $2,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am? Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a
I need
lawyer?
to see if I qualify.
How much do you make per month, ma'am?
I don't.
Approximately. It's a ballpark. Although I swore you in, I'll give you the grace of just giving me the ballpark of what you believe.
What is it? -75 every 2 weeks. So is that shoot, what, maybe about 2,000?
Okay. You do qualify, ma'am, for the appointment of a lawyer. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
All right. Hi.
Good morning. Are you Miss Santiago Gonzalez?
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, you've been charged with aggravated assault, battery, and obstructing an officer. I've set a bond in this case because the circumstances seem to be a little bit weird to me, but the bond for the aggravated assault charge is going to be $10,000. The bond for the battery charge is going to be $5,000. And the bond for the obstructing an officer charge is going to be $2,500. Do you believe you can post that bond of $17,500, ma'am?
I'm sorry?
Sure I do.
Post that bond of $17,500?
Okay.
Okay. Do you plan on representing yourself, hiring a lawyer, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Can you see if I qualify?
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Your name on this, your name is written in two different ways in the paperwork that I have. In one system is Gonzalez, another system is Santiago Gonzalez. So I need to see how it's written on these forms. Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No,
Okay, you're free to go back.
thank you.
You're welcome.
It's all the females, y'all.
Thank you. Okay, are we ready for the males?
Yes, sir.
Okay, looks like Mr. Alexander is first one up.
Alexander, we want their glasses.
Well,
My bad. Are you gonna ask us the order?
well, I was gonna say,
You don't want to ask them about mommy, that way I can go. Yeah, okay.
Deputy,
Sir,
who am I speaking with?
Deputy Durham.
Okay, Deputy Durham, however you want to do it, I will go with how you want to do it. So I
Okay.
don't want your flow, so you tell me.
Okay, come on, you come first, man. Come on. It's a guy that want to talk to you because he said he did one yesterday.
He said my name, he just spoke about me. He was just talking about me. So good. How you doing, sir? Ocasio?
Okay,
There seems to be a problem with the bond. The judge yesterday, the magistrate, she set the bond at 1,500 at each charge, but they put it down as 5,000 for the reckless conduct. I'm not understanding that.
there is, okay, what I have, well, I'll explain the process to you so that we can try to figure it out together. Each morning, we, as the judge, we come in, we print everything out. We have what are called orders for bond. Order for bond generally will have every charge that's on there. When I got in the morning and I printed everything out, I had an order for bond and there was one charge listed that said license. So I contacted the people in the sheriff's department and they sent me over the paperwork that they had. And so I looked at it and there was the one charge for driving on a suspended license. And then there is a warrant that was apparently taken out on December 30th of last year for reckless conduct. So warrant, and we call them the short term WAA, warrantless arrest affidavit. It appears that on January 25th, you were arrested and charged with driving on a suspended license. You were not arrested on January 25th?
No.
Okay. Tell me your date. Tell me your
Yeah. I did, that's this month. I'm bugging. We still in January. I'm sorry about that, Your Honor.
Yeah, so like 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
Yeah, that's what I had got. That was my charges. And
Okay. So
now,
it appears, Mr. Ocasio, that when you were arrested on January 25th, 2 days ago, that there had already been in the system a warrant that was
conduct.
right. So when you,
Yeah, I didn't even know about that. I would have been came and spoke to somebody to clear that up because it's a bunch of BS.
yes, I mean, and typically
There's no hard evidence. I wasn't there. I don't know what's going on. My family told me about everything. I'm like, what?
so yesterday when you appeared, what charge did you appear on?
She had me come to the reckless conduct and I spoke on the suspended license charge that I was supposed to be there for. And she said, okay, I'm gonna put it in there too as well. And that's why I was like, why am I coming to court again?
Okay, so right now, what I'm gonna do is this, Mr. Ocasio.
Yeah.
appears that you are here today on the driving on suspended license charge. Because
I know, I got you. I'm just like, oh, man.
I mean, and unfortunately, sometimes that kind of thing happens. So it appears as though
It's not for me.
right, the warrant yesterday was taken care of. For whatever reason, it wasn't, the suspended license wasn't taken care of. But you have a bond that's automatically set at $1,500 for the suspended license.
Could you bring that? Is there any way I can get some type of reduced on there, like to make, you know, one of them a little cheaper or something, man? Please.
They're both considered separate. So it's not sort of like a bulk deal where it's like if you get like 10 different charges, get your bond reduced because you got 10 different charges kind of deal. So unfortunately, it's going to stay at the $1,500 mark. But fortunately, you're going to be able to get out of here.
Huh?
So I said you're going to be able to get out.
Oh, you're gonna let me out? I can't. It's too much stuff in the back I can hear, but
That so you're and I'm having the same problems, and it's not.
but they need to be having the females muted right now, and they probably still have their screen on. They need to mute that and cut it off so we can hear clearly.
They're not at the door.
Who am I, Deputy?
Yes,
Can you turn the volume down on your side?
sure.
That's probably the problem.
There you go.
You can hear me better.
Yes. There's sometimes I hear myself better echoing from your side than from my side.
Right.
So you're going to be able to get out. Okay. $1,500 on the suspended license, in addition to the warrant that was outstanding.
Okay, so as long as I pay the bond for both of them, I can get out.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And there's going to be a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set, but that date is going to.
Gonna be low because I'm gonna get bond out. Now, with that being said, is there any way that I can come with my family members and get it taken, thrown out? Because I'm not putting charges on my mom, and neither is she putting any charges on me for anything. I did nothing to my mom. She did nothing to me. She takes medication, and she said that I touched her. That she hit me, and they locked her up, and she's on bond for that, and she's home.
Did they appoint a lawyer to represent you yesterday?
Yeah. No. Yeah, they said I can get a lawyer. They said I'm able to get the free lawyer and stuff.
Okay. That's the thing that you need to tell the lawyer about. Okay. Because the lawyer is the person that advocates on your behalf. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any other questions, Mr.
Is there any way somebody could, well, no, I'll get on the phone from here. That's it. I guess that's it. So my total bond for me to pay is how much now?
Well, if it was 5,000 yesterday for the reckless conduct and 1,500 today, it's going to be a total bond of $6,500. And
Yeah, see, in the system, they try to tell me 7,500 early this morning.
There are going to be fees.
I know the regular court fees and the bonding fees, but I've never, I don't understand why it's saying 75, you just said 65.
The sheriff's department.
They want a whole nother $1,000 for them?
No. The sheriff's department is required to add fees to a bond by the state of Georgia. It's not the sheriff's department sitting there trying to stick it to you. They have to add those fees. I don't know exactly what it will be, but they deal with it every day,
Is there any way you could make sure, because it's possible that the simple fact that yesterday she put it in and then this morning you put it in, so that made it look like, all right, I got 2 suspended license charges to make it 75. Because first it was 65 with 5,000, then the other, that made 65. Then they said it's 70 something hundred, just when I asked the dude in the booth before I came to court, like early in the morning.
Okay. Do you have a pen? Do you have a pen?
Right.
So these are the 2 warrant numbers. The first one for reckless conduct is 2020 CW.
CW?
Yes. 56172.
Okay.
The one from the arrest 2 days ago is 2021 WA 02698.
0274?
02698.
So it's 2021 WA 02698?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so not 0274.
No, sir.
Okay.
Those are the 2 offenses that are showing to me. Okay.
As long as those 2 are paid, I'll be out on my way today, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Now,
Sorry to talk so much. I'm just.
No. Hey, look, my job is to answer questions. I'm here to serve you. So when you get to that point, don't get into an argument with the sheriff's personnel that's sitting there and they're trying to figure it out. I'm trying to arm you with the information that you need so that you can work through this problem.
All
like,
right. But it's possible it's a systematic error as well, correct?
Yes, sir. Problems happen every day. We all.
This will be the 3rd time Clayton has a systematic error with my name and me. It's one too many times. It's outrageous.
Mr. Ocasio, I'll tell you this, but I tell everyone, don't presume that the system is perfect. Don't put your livelihood, your whatever in the hands of somebody. So don't put yourself in these positions moving forward, because you can see how things can innocently get thrown away. Okay.
Of course.
And in 3 days of your life, you could have been out there doing something else.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions of me, sir?
That'll be it. Thank you. I'm sorry for taking up too much of your time and all these other brothers that need to see you.
No, sir. That's my job. That's what I'm here for. Okay. You ready to go back?
You can just leave.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim, once you get done, you just go and leave. Once I get done. Alexander, Judge, you can just do how you do it, and after the order, you can just do it your way.
Yes, I try alphabetical.
Yeah, that's good. That's better. You can do it like that.
All right, Mr. Alexander.
Yes, sir.
You've been charged with 1 count of trafficking marijuana. Your bond is going to be set at $15,000 because you do not have a criminal history. However, Mr. Alexander, I've seen at least probably 15 of these cases over the past 2 weeks. So I don't know whatever's going on your side. You just need to understand, I see this. And if I see it, there are other people that see it. Okay? They have the US government behind their name, not me. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself, or do you want me to see who qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'm going to be hiring my own lawyer.
Okay. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 15th. It's going to say 8:30 in the morning over 1, but it's most likely going to be a Zoom hearing like we're having here today. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Alexander?
With the, so I can make a phone call and talk to a family member to post that bond? That's possible?
Yes, yes, sir. The sheriff's office will allow you to do that. But they have to do, I mean, they have their own processes in place. So, you know, I don't know when it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen today, but I don't know when.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
Uh, no, I think I'm okay.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Alexander.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Black. Black. Well, oh, Bert.
You're Mr. Black?
I am, sir. Well,
Sir, you've been charged with one count of battery. And based upon the circumstances that I read, I set the bond at $2,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
what's going on?
I'm also going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 16th, but that date is going to be waived upon your posting bond. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you, I'm sorry?
I know you're, hearing some talking in the back. You can go ahead, you can finish.
Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I can see if you can see if I qualify for an appointment of a lawyer.
You do qualify, Mr. Black, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, I do not.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Are you Mr. Burks?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Burks, you've been charged with one count of terroristic threats or acts. I'm gonna set the bond, sir, at this, for this offense at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir, but can you load a little bit for me, Judge?
Give me 1 second. So what I'll do, Mr. Burks, is I'll reduce it to $2,500. However, and I'll explain it so you understand. The way that the allegation is written, it could be something that could be viewed as someone being upset and just saying something. There's no allegation that you took any acts or any steps towards any of the to accomplish the alleged threat. But Mr. Burks, what you did, what they're alleging is a crime. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And you need to not place yourself in these situations where this could be something where you find yourself. You understand me, sir? I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 15th at 8:30 a.m. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I need appointment lawyer to come back when I come back.
You do qualify, Mr. Burks, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir, you said my boy is $2,000.
$2,500.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you very much for that.
you're welcome. You're free to go back.
Let me just slide down.
Mr. Clark,
It's a,
Mr. Clark, you've been charged with 1 count of battery, 1 count of terroristic threats or acts, and 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. And your situation is a little bit different than Mr. Burke's. So I'm setting a bond at $5,000 for the battery, at $10,000 for the terroristic threats or acts, and $5,000 for the cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. So that's a total bond of $20,000. Do you believe you can make that bond, Mr. Clark?
I'll be able to.
Okay. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for you, Mr. Clark, for March 15th at 8:30 in the morning. And that's going to be over Zoom hearing like we have here today, but it's going to say courtroom 201. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself? You want to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I want to see if I.
Okay. You do qualify, Mr. Clark, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
Yeah. I want to know, like, how does it work? I mean, like, they got paid, like, the whole bond, I mean, like, how does it actually, like, work?
Okay, so the Sheriff's Department has a list of bonding companies that are approved to write bonds in this county. You can call each one of them, tell them what you've been charged with, tell them your bond amount, and then they will tell you the fee that they will charge. Some bonding companies will work with you. They'll say, okay, we'll put you on a payment plan, so you don't have to come up with the whole amount today.
Yeah.
So you have to just, basically you have to make those phone calls to see what is best for you and your interests, but that's the process to do it. Okay? Any other questions, sir?
So, how I get the, you saying, the don't, you know, like, I don't know, like, what's going on, so.
Would you do me a favor, Mr. Clark, because of the echo, would you try to speak a little bit slower so that I can get it? It's not you, it's me, but it's just like because of the echo, it's like your words are running together.
Yeah, I don't know which kind of, like, my comment is such a little, control on it, so, see, if you got any, like, numbers, yeah, then I'll be able to call.
Okay, and this wasn't your fault, Mr. Clark. I was hearing a bunch of echoing, not echoing, it was like a scratching sound. And I just, this is frustrating for all of us, and I apologize that you're gonna have to say this one more time. But hold on 1 second, hold on. Whatever that was going on just now, that was a scratching sound that I was hearing.
Yeah,
just put your mask down. So he can hear you. I said, don't put it down so you can talk to him, so he can hear you clearly.
Pull it down.
Okay, so, all right, so, I'm trying to ask, if you have any, like, numbers, that I'll be able to, call on it. That's not what I'm asking, but I was trying to ask.
Okay, if one of the deputies kind of just related what he just said, because I didn't hear it.
Man, so to hear you, bro.
So, I'm trying to see, if you have any numbers, any numbers, that I'll be able to call, that I'll be able to call.
For the bonding companies.
Yeah, that's right.
The Sheriff's Department, they do have those numbers, and they will give you that information. Just ask them, and I think they have it like on a pre-printed form almost of the different bonding companies and their numbers. So just, yeah, just let them know. Well, not just let them know, just ask them for the list of the bonding companies and they will give it to you. Any other questions, Mr. Clark? Okay, you're free to go back, sir. Are you Mr. Daniels?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Daniels, you've been charged with 1 count of simple assault, 1 count of simple battery, and 1 count of obstructing an officer. I've set the bond for the simple assault at $2,500. I've set the bond for the battery at $5,000, and I've set the bond for the obstructing an officer at $1,500. So that's a total bond of $9,000. Do you believe you can post that, Mr. Daniels?
No, sir. Can you come down on it or lower it just a little bit? I mean, I work in the medical field, so I might be able to come up with something little less.
Okay, so
I just don't want to lose my job. I work so hard to get my job, and I'm in the medical field. Like I'm a medical responder, so it's,
no, I understand. I understand, Mr. Daniels.
I haven't even yet contacted my job yet because I have yet to get to the telephone.
So what I'm willing to do, Mr. Daniels, is I'll reduce the obstructing an officer to $1,000, but I'm not going to reduce the simple assault. I'm not going to reduce the simple battery because of the allegations. It's just not the type of behavior that I could say, well, that's okay. So what that'll do is that'll reduce your bond to $8,500. $8,500. And I understand everything that you've said. The problem is that as a judge, my job is to think about the whole community and how this behavior impacts the community. And this is just something that we can't.
I don't even know what was said like against me. So
the allegation is that you pulled on the hair of Jasmine Bowling, and pulled her hair to the point that her braids were pulled out during some kind of physical altercation, and that you grabbed a pot and threw it at her.
oh no.
So, and I'll just say this, I don't know what happened. If you want, I can see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer.
Yeah.
You do qualify, Mr. Daniels, so I can appoint a lawyer to represent you. If these allegations are incorrect, the lawyer is the person that can help you.
Okay.
And hopefully exonerate you through this. But right now, that's the bond that I'm gonna set based upon the allegations that I see.
How much is it? One more time, sorry, 8,500?
Yes, sir. So the sheriff's office will have a list of bonding companies. You can contact the bonding companies, the other gentleman, and they will put you on a payment plan or do whatever their work with you so that you can get out and you can go back to your job. I'm gonna set a preliminary hearing date for March 16th. So that date is gonna get waived and the bond out.
But if I can't bond out, then I'm gonna have to stay there till the 16th.
Well, yes, you know that'll be your next court date, but ideally, there will be something worked out between that then and now. So that you're not sitting there if you can't post your bond.
So if I don't post it, there will be something that's gonna come before my court date.
There will be the possibility, yes, your lawyer will be able to work with or contact the solicitor's office, which is the prosecutor or a state court that your case will go to. And they could work something out, either a consent bond, reduction of bond, or they could work these charges out before then.
All right, thank you.
Okay? All right, sir, you're free to go back.
What you like to do?
Have your name, sir?
Ryan, please.
Mr. Dees, you're charged with one count of obstructing an officer. I've set a bond at $1,000 for that. One count of backing and one count of prohibited.
What kind of what?
One count of, they say prohibited parking, which is, looks like they're saying you're parked in a place that they didn't believe you should be parked.
My neighborhood.
Hey, that's,
It look crazy, right?
which gets me to the next question. Do you plan on representing yourself, hiring your own lawyer?
I know.
Okay. So at this stage, everything that is put in here, they're mere allegations. I take what is said here as true. I take what you tell me as true, because this is not a trial, and I'm not here to make the determination as to who's telling the ultimate truth. Tell this stuff to your lawyer so that your lawyer can help you and assist you, okay?
All right.
I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 16th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. D?
Wait, what you mean? Wait, like what that mean?
Wait, you want
Okay. So,
Never mind, you good. Sir, you're not going to do it, sir.
okay, anything else, Mr. D?
You good. No, you good.
Okay, you're free to go back. Deputy,
Sir,
I'm sorry, tell me your name again.
Durham.
Durham, Deputy Durham. The radio traffic really interferes with my ability to hear and understand.
I
I don't know if it's a safety issue. If it is, then tell me so. But it makes it hard to hear when people start talking over the radio.
Okay, yeah, I had to turn it down, but I got you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I got you, sir.
Thank you. You're Mr. Dye?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dye, you've been charged with one count of speeding. There's a bond set at $500 for that. One count of reckless driving. There's a bond set at $1,500 for that. And one count of impermissible passing. So there's a $500 bond set for that. So you obviously upset somebody along the way with your driving. I apologize, sir. I don't mean to make.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is that still accounted for if you have a passenger that's getting rushed to the emergency room? And they was well aware of that.
Well, what I'll say to you is this: the way to my answer to that is, as I said before, these are mere allegations. It doesn't mean that you're going to be convicted. You know, O.J. Simpson sat in jail for a year and walked out. So the fact that you've been accused of doing something doesn't mean that you're guilty of it, okay?
Right.
My job here is to get you moving along that path and make sure that if you want a lawyer and you qualify for a lawyer, one is appointed, and to give you your next court date, okay?
Now, can I get a bond reduction?
These are all set by schedule, which means that unless there is a very, 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 very compelling reason to reduce it, I don't. Because these have been looked at by my boss, by people in the legal community, and they've determined to be reasonable. So unless there is a compelling reason that you can give me, I'm not going to reduce these bonds.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I just need a reduction because of the fact that I'm doing this by myself. I ain't gonna lie.
Tell me, when you say you're doing it by yourself, what that means?
Me, I'm alone. It's just me and my kids.
Okay.
I have 2 kids that when I got locked up, that your deputies tried to take from me, but wasn't able to do it. In other words, so I'm a single parent. In other words.
No, I understand. What I'll do, Mr. Dye, I'm gonna reduce the reckless driving from 1,500 to 1,000. I'm gonna leave the other 2 because again, I take what they placed in here as being true. So they said you were speeding, I take that as true. They said you were passing or making improper pass, I take that as true. The reckless driving is something that is a little bit more subjective. So you're gonna have a total bond of $2,000. Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I see if I'm qualified.
You do qualify, Mr. Dye, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions of me, sir?
I try to bond out. If I don't, what's the court status?
Right now, there's going to be a preliminary hearing date set for March 16th. That date is pushed out because of the virus. Normally it would be 2 weeks from now, less than 2 weeks, but it's pushed out. So it doesn't mean that that's going to be the next time that something happens in your case. I've appointed a lawyer. These are driving related offenses. These are things that can be easily or more easily taken care of.
Okay, the next court date you said preliminary, that's for what, to plead guilty, not guilty?
No, it's actually to determine whether there's sufficient evidence to move your case forward. So the reason you gave for speeding and the things that they said that you did is because you were going to the hospital. That could be deemed a reasonable action under the circumstances, but you're going to have to be able to show that that's what was going on. So let's say that you can show that there was a medical incident that led you to do the things that you did. A prosecutor may say, you know what, I understand. I would do the same thing. I'm dismissing all of these charges against you.
So I could waive it and just handle it, plead guilty or whatever the consequences is and just deal with it. Is that possible?
Yes, that is possible, but not at this stage.
So, okay, so I just gotta wait for 2 more court dates.
Not even that. Well, my understanding is because of, again, the virus, is that they are trying to move as much stuff as they can move so that people are not sitting in jail, either infecting other people or infecting the deputies or the employees of the sheriff's department. And these are driving related offenses. Now, if you're charged with murder or something that was more serious, you're probably going to be sitting there. But because of this, they may say, yeah, we just need to move this along.
Okay. Understandable.
Any other questions?
No,
Okay, free to go back.
thank you.
You're welcome. You're Mr. Flournoy? Sir, you've been charged with 1 count of possession of firearm by a convicted felon. I'm setting the bond at $10,000 for that. And I'm setting the bond at that amount because what I would encourage you to do is deal with whatever status that you have as a convicted felon so you can carry a firearm lawfully.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
You didn't know where I could get the bond reduced because, the person who alleged gun was the police, he said he would have charged with it, but the dude was, we just dropped him off in Chicago, at the airport, so he couldn't allege, he told the police officer that it was his stuff, but the police officer said he still had to charge me with it because it was in the car. But my cousin said he will be able to come to court, say that it was, he got the paperwork and everything showing that it's his gun, but it just, I can't do nothing until he come back from Chicago, but I'm trying to see, can I get a lower bond, so I could, cause I take care of my auntie and my nephew.
Right. I'm gonna keep the bond the way that it is, Mr. Flournoy, and for this reason. The people that you are around, they need to take care of you as much as you take care of them, and not place you in these kind of circumstances. So you're gonna have to really kind of say, look, I can't, there's just certain stuff I can't do. So I'm sorry, but I'm gonna keep it the way that it is. And there are other people that are facing the same charge on this calendar that I've placed the bond at that amount too. I'm gonna set a preliminary hearing date for you for March 15th. I'm also, do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Flournoy, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Oh, man. Yo. Next.
You're Mr. Harris?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Harris, 1 count of family violence battery and 1 count of terroristic threats. Set the bond at $5,000 for the family violence battery and a stay away provision to I guess is Charlene Bartley. I've also set a $10,000 bond for the terroristic threats. We have a total bond of $15,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Gonna be kind of hard. Could you, is there any way that you could reduce the bond on the terrorist, reduce the bond period on either one of the charges?
At this point, I'm not. These charges were brought up in warrants that were almost a year ago. And for situations like this, I think the conduct is the thing that we have to be concerned about. And I don't know you, I don't know her. I don't know.
Understand that the situation is she's my baby mother, and I guess somebody saw us arguing, going back and forth, and I left. I didn't even, the police came out, and I didn't even know that they pressed charges on me.
Right.
As you know what I'm saying, as far as I know, because she was at my house just last week. You know what I mean? I was visiting with my son, so like I didn't even know this was going on. I was at work, and we got into an accident at work because I deliver medical equipment, and I'm a driver helper. My driver ran into somebody, and that's how I ended up getting arrested and finding out about the warrant. Period. I called her last night, was like, yo, you pressed charges against me back in February? And she said, no. She said, I've never called the police on you before. But back in February 14th, which was Valentine's Day, we had broken up
Right.
with another female. So that's why we was arguing. So that's the situation and like, I never put my hands on it. And I'm not gonna say that I didn't say things like we was arguing.
Yes, and I would encourage you not to say anything related to that.
Yeah, we had an argument, and you know what I'm saying? Like she said she never pressed charges on me. So I was trying to figure out, did the state pick them up or like what really could have happened? Because
So
I still deal with this person on a day-to-day basis because she has my son.
The information I'll give you, Mr. Harris, that will help you moving forward is, in her mind, she may not have pressed charges against you.
Yeah.
If she called the police to,
Said she never even called the police.
let me finish, Mr. Harris. If she called the police to this Catherine Road address, and the police showed up and you were not there, and they asked her questions, and it says here on the warrant that they said they saw marks on her face. So she could have been.
She has a birthmark on her face.
Mr. Harris, I'm trying to educate you. I'm trying to help you so that you're in this position. So please, I'm not fighting with you. I take everything that you're telling me as 100% true, okay? If she had called the police there and the police showed up and she said, hey, my boyfriend and I got in an argument or whatever, and people say things, I've been a criminal defense lawyer for 20 years. People say things in the heat of the moment that they don't mean. And later, they either don't remember it or they're like, yeah, well, I said it, but I didn't really mean it. That kind of, right? You're not there to make those determinations at that time. There's something happened. They would then go and get the warrant based upon what they were told. Now, if later she says, hey, that wasn't true, I didn't mean it, blah, blah, blah. That's what this process is all about. So she can come in and say, yeah, no, I didn't say it, no, I didn't mean it, or whatever. And everything gets dropped and it moved on. But the thing that I'm trying to tell you so that you know in the future is at the moment, you are placing yourself in a position of getting arrested and going to jail and having to deal with it later.
And that's exactly why I wasn't there when the police arrived, because we was arguing, we were fussing, going back and forth, and my mama always told me, before I do anything, walk away. So I walked away, I left, and I never knew that I had any.
And there's been a policy, if there's a domestic dispute type situation, if you leave, unfortunately, you're putting yourself in a position of being arrested more likely. Go outside and sit outside or sit in the car or whatever with the doors locked, so there's no arguments or whatever. So if the police are called, because a neighbor could call the police, and that happens a lot. A neighbor, there's an argument, a neighbor calls. So she may not have even called anybody. So that's what I'm saying.
That's what I believe happened. I believe because when it took place, we was actually in the driveway. But she said she never called the police on me. So that's why I couldn't figure out why I was being arrested. And I actually called her while I was with the police while they was arresting me last night.
Right.
When they explained to me what was going on, I was actually at work doing my last delivery, and I'm like, yo, I can't have none of this going on. I just got a really good job. Like, yo.
So what I would encourage you to do, Mr. Harris, is to contact the bonding companies that the sheriff's office will give you a list of, if they have not done so already. Tell them what you're charged with, they'll work with you. They will work with you and they'll get you out. And you can deal with this and you can fight these charges. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Harris, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. I'm going to give you a preliminary hearing date for March 17th at 8:30 in the morning. And what that'll do is that'll get a date and a target so that if everything that you've told me is 100% true, this will be off your back before that date. Okay? Any questions with me, Mr. Harris?
So there's no, bond reduction.
No, sir.
So how much is the bond in total?
Right now, the total bond is going to be $15,000.
15,000. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, Mr. Hall?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hall, you've been charged with 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce and 2 counts of possession of drug-related material. The possession of marijuana less than an ounce charge is automatically set. The bond is automatically set at $1,500 for that. The use or possession of drug-related objects, I've set the bond for each of those offenses at $1,500. So that's a total bond of $4,500. Do you believe you post that bond, sir?
Yes. Can you tell me what the second charge is? Useful, what was it?
Oh, the drug-related objects, they charge you with 1 count of, what is this? All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to dismiss these 2 drug-related objects charges because they have this firearm listed that was legal, but they don't have anything else to say to go along with the marijuana charge. So your bond is going to be a total bond of $1,500.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir. I'm gonna hire your own lawyer representing yourself. You can qualify for the appointment of lawyer.
Can you see if I qualify?
I will. Hold on. You do qualify, Mr. Hall. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 16th, but that date's going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me?
So my total bond now is just the 1,500? No other questions, John?
Okay, you're free to go back. How are you, Mr. Lattimore?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Lattimore, you've been charged with 1 count of simple assault and 1 count of carrying a concealed weapon. The bond for both of these has been set by schedule, which means it's been automatically set. So you have a total bond of $6,000, $5,000 for the weapon and $1,000 for the simple assault allegation. You believe you can post that bond, sir?
Well, you know, I want to basically put some highlight points out there. The gun belongs to me, and due to an allegation of me firing a weapon, which was an allegation, a lie, that was the initial call. the officer came out very aggressive, and I was inside my home changing my clothes to leave, to go to a job. I'm a locksmith, Your Honor, and not trying to, but I'm a locksmith pretty much, and the officer came very aggressive from that allegation, and me putting my shirt on and putting my jacket on, heading to my vehicle, he basically forced me down the stairs with my firearm. So if I'm in that stitching of my home in my car, that in the state, I mean, you know the law. In that situation, I was on private property in my home and was forced to come out of my home, which I was in the middle of a route. He was saying, hey, the officer said, hey, who car is this? Come down and speak to me about this car. And I was like, sir, I'm in the process of getting in my vehicle, leaving, going to a job, which I have a text message that come through that tell me that I have a job to go through. And in this situation, from the false allegation, she basically said, hey, he didn't do that. He didn't fire the weapon. So if the officer whenever came aggressive and forced me basically out of the home to question me about a car, that's when he said a car. Because I never did anything physical. I never, we had a few words, but it didn't get to the level. She a very aggressive woman. You know, I've been with her for 9 years. I got witnesses that know that I'm very peaceful, and you know, but from the whole situation, I feel like the concealed weapon should be dropped, and you should definitely look at the simple assault, because if she lied about that, then she had to find something else to lie about to make something stick. The problem is, Your Honor, she told me she was leaving. I said, that's fine, I'm leaving too. I told her that before she told me. So we both were deciding to leave. And I told her, well, in this regard, on this trip, I said, well, I don't feel bad that I might have a child on the way by someone else. And that's when she disappeared and called 911, and I was totally unaware, because I did nothing wrong, Your Honor, nothing. I'm like, you can check the record, you can, I had no prior to none of that type of stuff, you know. But I just feel like if you can do anything for me right now, as far as a bond or dismiss the charge, or just look, you know.
Well, I can't dismiss the charge. I only can dismiss charges when there is no way possible. So when I just dismissed those other charges, there wasn't any allegation that the person had drug-related objects. So at this stage, if the deputy there had an allegation that I slapped you through this computer, right? Yeah, it can't happen. I mean, can't happen. But if I was in the building and you came up and said, hey, Judge Gardner slapped me, deputy is not there to determine whether it actually happened or not. Is look at it, investigate it. You got a red mark in your face. Well, yeah, maybe Judge Gardner did do it, right? That's where we are now.
Okay,
So
I'm sorry.
let me finish.
Go ahead.
I take everything that you've told me as absolute truth, and I take everything that's in I'll let you speak. Believe me.
Now, I'm from my right hand, say I'm telling the God on the truth.
Okay. But I also take everything that's in the warrant as absolute truth, because they've sworn to this. So this is not like the trial stage. And I understand what you're saying. I can appoint a lawyer to represent you. You can tell the lawyer what has happened. The lawyer will most likely, if what you've told me is 100% true, get your case dismissed and your charges dismissed. Going forward, you said you've been with this person for 9 years, and you said you know how this person is. I can guarantee you that if you're staying with that person, knowing the way that she is, you're going to have more conversations with judges than you want to have in your life. So I don't mean that, say that to be mean, but just, you know, we all have jobs, deputy, myself, everybody else, we got jobs because people don't know how to conduct their lives.
Yeah, so is she accusing me of hitting her? I mean, it's
Yes,
simple.
well, not hitting you. The allegation is that you got into a fighting stance and made a threat to her that she believed. No, listen, I'm just
Okay, I'm listening, I'm listening.
so that she felt uncomfortable or she felt that something that you were going to do something to her. So that's the allegation. It's not that you hit her, it's that you basically squared up, as they would say, you squared up on her like you were going to hit her. So that's the allegation.
Yes, and I just want you to know, that's very untrue, but, is it any way I can get, anything reduced, you know?
I'm not going to reduce it because it's set by schedule. And what that means is that people have looked at it and made a determination that this is the appropriate bond in these circumstances. I hear what you're saying and I do take it to heart. I do. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes,
You do qualify, Mr. Lattimore, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for March 16th, but that date is going to be waived once you bond out. Do you have any other questions of me, Mr. Lattimore?
no, Your Honor, I appreciate it.
Okay, you're free to go back. You, Mr. Lewis?
Next, yes, sir. Going down the line.
I'm sorry.
I said, yes, sir.
Mr. Lewis, you've been charged with one count of theft by receiving stolen property. And the allegation is that it was a vehicle. The bond has already been set by schedule for that at $2,000. You believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for you, Mr. Lattimore, at March.
Mr. Lewis.
I'm sorry, Jesus. I'm sorry, Mr. Lewis. I do apologize. I'm setting the bond for you, sir, at for March 17th at 8:30 in the morning. It's going to be over Zoom call like we're having here today. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself? And you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
See if I qualify for one, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Lewis. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, not at this moment, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Lewis.
Appreciate it. Enjoy it. Start down, fellas.
Hi, are you Mr. Martin?
Sir.
Mr. Martin, you've been charged with one count of theft by taking. The bond is also been set by schedule for that at $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 16th, but that date is going to be waived upon your bond. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry.
No, I ain't saying that, young.
Oh, do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Martin, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
I want to thank you, Your Honor, and you're good judge.
Thank you. You're welcome. Well, you're welcome first, and then well, thank you, and then you're.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay, you too. Yeah. Sir.
Yo,
Mr. Morales?
yes.
Sir, you've been charged with one count of driving a vehicle with the window with tint that's too dark, and one count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Both of those are set by schedule. The tenant window charge, the bond is $500. The possession of marijuana less than an ounce charge, the bond is $1,500 for that. It's a total bond of $2,000. You leaving post that bond, sir?
$2,000?
Yes, sir.
Yes, but I have a question. I have the money, but, I don't know if I have that option to go in my phone and transfer money from my savings to my checking, and I'll pay it up today. Is that possible?
So the short answer is I don't know, but the sheriff's department, I'm certain I know they have processes in place as it relates to your property. I don't know if this is something where that will be allowed, but the appropriate people to ask are the members of the sheriff's department. If not, well, they're the people that I would go to first to ask that. And I was going to say, if not, if you know you have the money, if you have a family member or someone that can loan it to you and you pay it back, you know, that's another option. But I'm sorry, I don't have a more direct answer for you.
And what if I pay the percentage only? Is that possible?
That is possible. And you would
I
have
could pay it?
through a bonding company. You would pay it to a bonding company. They would either come down and bond you out and then you pay them, or they would have you probably most likely sign documents that say that you're going to pay them if you don't have it like sitting there. But yeah, you have those options. You have the bonding company. You can pay it completely in cash to the sheriff's department. And if that is what you were intending to do, maybe that's what you should tell them, that, hey, I have this money, I want to pay it to you, and they may allow you to make those arrangements.
Okay, so what is the, so $2,000, that's 10%? I'm gonna be charged?
Roughly, yes, sir.
Okay, so that's $200. So if I pay $200, if the bonding company, they come over here and bail me out, I just gotta pay them $200?
As I said earlier, I don't know exactly what the bonding company will charge, but that's the neighborhood.
Okay, all right. So who I gotta talk to? I gotta talk to the sheriff? So now I'm gonna pay that money?
If I heard you correctly, if you're saying who should you speak to about?
The sheriff.
Yes, not the sheriff, but the deputies, the members of the sheriff's department.
All right.
Okay.
So I have the money, yeah.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
But I can't pay it right now. I got the money.
Are you talking about the bond?
Yeah, the bond.
You talk to the lawyer, sir.
Oh, you don't know?
Good
Okay.
question.
Yeah. So
Okay.
So it looks like you make a little bit too much money for me to appoint a lawyer. So it looks like you're either gonna have to hire a lawyer, represent yourself, but you have a bond. And this process that we're going through now is just delaying the time that you get out.
Okay, okay, all right. Let me, I wanna know if I'm qualified for a lawyer then.
You do not. I looked at your sheet. You make too much money, Mr. Morales.
Okay.
Anything else, sir?
That'll be all.
Okay, you're free to go back. Mr. Is it Nottage or Nottage?
Nice.
Sir, charged with a number of driving offenses, and they're all set by schedule. And it appears as though you're gonna have a total bond of $5,500. You've been charged with 6 different driving offenses. Driving without a license, driving a vehicle with the tag that's expired, having defective equipment on a vehicle, driving without insurance, improper lane change, and driving under the influence. So do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Question.
Yes.
Being as it was not my car, I know I wasn't supposed to be driving. Can you reduce my bond? Cause I didn't know the tag expired. I didn't know she didn't have insurance. I didn't know none of that.
All of these have been set by schedule, Mr. Nottage, and unfortunately, the way that the law looks at it is they put the onus on you to know that you're driving a vehicle that's properly registered, licensed, and tagged. If not, then nobody would pay to have their vehicle licensed or tagged, and they just drive their neighbor's vehicle. I drive your vehicle, you drive my vehicle, and say, I didn't know. So that's the way the law looks at it. And so that's why you as a driver get dinged by it. The person who's the actual owner of the vehicle can assist you down the road as your case goes along and have those charges dismissed. If that person comes in and stands up and says, hey, he didn't know. It's my fault. It's not his fault. That's, I understand. I understand that.
So there's no chance you can reduce my bond in no way.
No, sir. I mean, and that's and the thing is, it's like, it's sort of like almost sometimes when they say I'm doing you a favor, that maybe you don't need to be around that person because that person's getting you caught up in their stuff. But I all I can say is that, do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm going to find you qualify, sir, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. As I said before, all of these are misdemeanor offenses, so there's a preliminary hearing date set for March 16th.
You was right with February.
I wish I could. These are given to me in advance. But that date is going to be waived once you bond out, and you'll get a new date in the mail. Okay?
Bond is just 5,500.
Yes, sir. Any other questions, sir?
No, that's it.
Okay, you're free to go back. I'm sorry, sir, you're Mr. Parks?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Parks, you've been charged with one count of your Calvin Parks.
Yes, sir.
You've been charged one count of driving a vehicle with an expired tag, one count of not having a license. The bond for these totals is going to be $1,500. You believe you can post that bond, sir?
Can you reduce the bond, sir? 'Cause I just started my job and stuff, and you reduce it really helped me a lot.
These
I just started my job. I should get paid sometime this week.
These are set by schedule, Mr. Parks, so I can't reduce it.
What is the amount, the whole amount?
So there's $500 bond for the driving with expired or invalid tag. there's $1,000 for driving a vehicle with no license. So that's a $1,500. Okay,
What, next court date? If I don't find out,
March,
March
at
what?
March 16th, 1/6
Okay,
at 8:30 in the morning. That'll be by Zoom call. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
yes, sir.
How much do you earn per month?
Um,
Just pick any number, man.
Okay, you do qualify. You do qualify, Mr. Parks. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you,
Okay,
and you are free to go back.
okay, sir. Have a good day, sir.
Hey, okay, man.
Hello.
Go ahead, there.
You're Michael Parks.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you've been charged with one count of giving a false name, address, and date of birth. The bond's going to be set at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself? You want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Let me see if I qualify, sir.
You qualify, Mr. Parks. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. There's going to be a bond here. I'm sorry, a preliminary hearing date set for March 16th. That date's going to get waived, bond out. Any questions?
So I can bond out today, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I got a question. If I got a hold on from another jail, and I bond out today, will I still have to see her?
You will be transferred from this jail to the other jail.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, you can go back.
That's about that.
You're Mr. Pence.
Yes.
Sir, you've been charged with one count of simple battery. I set the bond at $5,000. You believe you can post that bond, sir? I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 16th. That date will be waived if you bond out. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
You do qualify, Mr. Pence, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir? Okay, you're free to go back. You're Mr. Rhodes? So you've been charged with one count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. I'm gonna set the bond at $5,000.
Is there any way possible for us to ask for a reduction by any chance on a single parent? Which I would be because my job is COVID.
No, sir. If Mr. Rhodes, I would say that if you're bringing marijuana from from LAX to Atlanta, the $5,000 bond is not a whole
I
lot.
understand. I just thought I'd ask. Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna set the preliminary hearing date for March 17th. For you, do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You qualify, Mr. Rhodes, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir. Thank you, Lord.
You're welcome.
Got to slide down, fellas. Got to slide down.
Sir, you've been charged with one count of possession of firearm by a convicted felon. I've set the bond at $10,000 for that. Do you post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You said 10,000?
Yes, sir.
We got something like right on though?
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to qualify for the appointment of?
If I qualify for a lawyer.
How much?
I have a question. I have a
Wait,
question.
wait. One thing at a time. How much do you?
I make $9.75 a month.
Okay, you do qualify, sir. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Then I'll cut you off and you ask your question.
All right, my brother, he's gonna come back for the gun that they found up under my seat in my car, because I didn't know that the gun was in my car at all. So when he come back for his gun, would that be dropped off of me?
That does constitute a defense to this charge. So yeah,
Cause that, I had no idea when they pulled me out of my car yesterday, cause I was in my probation class. And like, they jigged me out of the car, talking about I'm trying to pull the gun, and I ain't had no idea the gun was in the car.
there was what I would advise you, sir, is like, moving forward, you gotta protect yourself. It's like if you're in a fight and your hands are down by your waist and you just getting slapped across the face, you gotta protect yourself. So you gotta be aware of this stuff, and people gotta know, especially if I'm your brother and I know you're a convicted felon and I got a gun in my car. I'm like, hey, wait, bro, let me take the gun out the car.
All right, I know now to check my car before I let anybody got down get out. To check it and make sure it's gone.
Yes, sir. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Sir.
You're welcome. You're Mr. Ross? Sir, you've been charged with one count of theft by receiving stolen property, being a motor vehicle, one count of loitering or prowling, and one count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. The theft by receiving motor vehicle count, I've set a bond at $20,000 for that. The other two offenses, loitering or prowling, the bond is set at $1,000, and the possession of marijuana less than an ounce, the bond is set at $1,500. That's a total bond of $22,500. You believe you can post that bond, sir?
I had a question on the,
Yes, sir.
on the motor vehicle. Well, I wasn't operating the motor vehicle. I was just sitting down in it when it came into the truck. They were patrolling the parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, and I don't know, again, I take everything that you tell me is 100% truth. I take everything that's in this affidavit as 100% truth. When it says operating, it says that you advised them that you drove the vehicle to that location. Now, whether that's true or not, we can't make that determination. So that's how they charge you as the operator. If the vehicle belongs to somebody else, you're driving it for somebody else or whatever, you need to understand that as it currently stands, this vehicle was stolen and it had an altered VIN. So somebody's going to, it's either you or somebody else that owns it. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Oh, yes, sir.
How much do you make a month, Mr. Ross?
What, 900 a month?
Okay, you do qualify, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. I'm also setting a preliminary hearing date for March 17th. And that'll be the time that you and your lawyer can put forward your defense and possibly get these charges dismissed at that stage, okay? Anything else?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, sir.
You go. How much that?
Hi, are you Mr. Scott?
Yes, sir.
Sir, you've been charged with one count of driving a vehicle with a suspended revoked license. The bond is going to be set at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 16th. but that date is going to get waived when you bond out and you'll receive a new date in the mail, court date in the mail. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Sir, I would like to see if I qualify.
Okay, are you currently employed, Mr. Scott?
No, sir, I'm looking for a job.
Okay, so you do qualify. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions to me, sir?
Yes, sir, what was my charge?
Driving a vehicle with a suspended or revoked license.
Sir, my license was not suspended when I was driving.
That's something, it has happened before, where either a suspension is wrongly placed on someone's record, or something is reported improperly to the Department of Driver Services. So if you do not believe that your license was suspended, you definitely need to contact the Department of Driver Services.
Not a problem, sir. And
Okay.
sir, again, let me just confirm, my name is Nirmal Shah. That's the,
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I was looking at you as Mr. Scott, so I do apologize.
no problem, sir.
You're charged with driving under the influence,
Yes,
and an improper lane change. So your bond is set at $5,500. And you do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer.
can it be reduced, sir, or at least, because the improper name change, sir, can it be reduced?
No, sir, not at this stage.
Okay.
Okay, anything else, sir?
Let's have one more time the date of my hearing, next hearing. The date, the next hearing date, sir.
Okay.
What is the date? 16th or what? Sorry,
It's still the same, March 16th.
March 16th.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well,
Are you Mr. Speed?
Yes, sir.
Sir, you've been charged one count of simple battery. I looked at the allegations, and based upon the allegations, I've set the bond at $2,500. Do you believe what's that bond?
Yeah, I don't think it's possible. The only thing is, all of my funds are in my wallet with the jail. So,
So are you saying that you have the total amount in your wallet and that's what you want to use to post your bond?
well, I was gonna get a bail bond, but like I said, my card is in my wallet, so I couldn't even pay him without, without my wallet.
So once you get down that path of making those arrangements, the jail has procedures in place to allow people to obtain or retrieve property from their possession from property. So if that's the issue, you would have to communicate that to the jail staff, and they will tell you what they require or would need in order to pull stuff out. You also should tell that to the bonding company, because the bonding company will then allow you to do what you need to do so that you can get the money out and you can bond out, get the money out and pay them, right? Because if the bonding company writes your bond and you are out, the jail is going to give you your property. So you have everything you need to make those arrangements with the bonding company, correct? Any other questions, sir?
No, sir, that's all.
Okay, free to go back. Oh, Mr. Speed, sorry. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'm gonna hire a lawyer.
Okay, that's all I needed, Mr. Speed. Free to go back, sir. You, Mr. Springfield? Are you Mr. Springfield?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Springfield, you've been charged with 1 count of theft by receiving stolen property being a vehicle, 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. I've set the bond for the theft by receiving motor vehicle for $20,000 and the bond for possession of marijuana less than an ounce of $1,500 for total bond of $21,500. Sir.
If I could get the motor vehicle reduced a little bit, just not, you know what I'm saying, not too much, but if I can get that reduced, because my situation was I rented the car from somebody. And they therefore rented the car from somebody else, and then that person reported the car stolen. So I had no knowledge of it, you know what I'm saying? So when they surrounded me the other day, I'm looking like, what's going on? They're like, well, the car's stolen. And I'm like, well, I had no knowledge that I have a key in my hand.
Right.
And then, so
I'm gonna leave it the way that it is. For these charges, for this charge in particular, because Atlanta is a place where people got to drive around and not having a car becomes a big issue. I don't know why you're taken into custody based upon what you just told me. I take it as 100% truth, like I tell everyone else. But I also take allegations as 100% truth. So I would, based upon what you said, somebody needs to get, you know,
facts.
yeah. So do you plan on hiring your lawyer, representing yourself?
Yeah, I'm gonna hire a lawyer.
Okay. I would encourage you to really speak to the lawyer. If what you said to me is 100% true, speak to the lawyer about the costs that you've incurred and even bonding out and all of that stuff, about how you can recover that money.
Yeah, because I got all the documents and stuff because they have a rental company and everything. So that's the crazy part about it.
Right. That's what I would encourage you to do.
Okay.
I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for March 17th.
Okay.
And I'm setting it down so you can talk to the lawyer about whether you guys want to keep that date or not. But that way you can get all of this stuff dismissed and dealt with.
Okay, so it's 21,000 total?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You're free to go back.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
You understand, man.
You stay right there.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes, sir.
sir, you've been charged 1 count of battery. I've set the bond at $5,000, and I've also set a bond to stay away from Alice Taylor.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, the reason why I'm in this stuff, I'm gonna say, cause I got 20% of my heart to beat this stuff. Now I was associated, they didn't even give me my medicine today and stuff and things. They throw me in the car and it's like, I supposed to have a hip on replacement. Dr. Atlanta Heart Association told me, I'm dead if I can't be on that step, I can't do so walk on boom. I got quadruple bypass. I got a pacemaker, a defibrillator. They didn't give me none of my medicine. They throw me in the car and being asked for the supervisor kind of stuff. And all I want my medication because I'll be vindicated because when my wife would happen, like I said, they told me if I catch COVID, I'm good as dead. My wife worked at a Rainbow clothing store. She go to work and stuff. This morning she was saying, her dose stopped me because she's on high blood pressure medicine just like I am. She get high and low. So I'm asking her, why are you going to work and stuff? You finna retire April 16 on our wedding anniversary. Well, the child got me. And I said, you can't clean the house. I cook, I clean, I do everything. Oh yeah, you don't even come home and do nothing but go to sleep. Yeah, but I'm going to work. She went to work. I said, if you go to work, suppose you rent the car like you did the truck and stuff. Going to work, you got deals, renting and stuff. Okay. She goes to work, she calls me. Now this is what I don't understand. The police told me already because I hit her nose, a nosebleed. That's what they say, a nosebleed. I sent my son's girlfriend to pick her up from work because I can't even walk. I can't walk with her. My heart and stuff, like I said, come on the beat. I got triple bypass. I got stents in me. I got filters in me and stuff. They just told her. We went to the doctor, a lot of heart surgery last month. They said you got 25% of your heart, Mr. Taylor. I went back 2 weeks ago. They said, Mr. Taylor, I don't know what you're doing. You stressed out. You got 20% of your heart. You better stop. So I'm telling her, baby, you know, you can't give me a coat. You'll go, and you catch the coat, you're locked up. I said, you gotta do something to be locked up and stuff. So when the police came, they first came, they said, I got a hostage in the house. They left. I'm sitting at the house taking my medicine and stuff. Went to McDonald's, can't even drive and stuff. Go to McDonald's, go get my medicine, put it on the bed. Also knock on the door. I told him, yeah, who is it? Yeah, we got a warrant for your arrest. Sir, she ain't been back there, I ain't even seen her and stuff. Y'all came here and said that it was a hostage. How can it be double standards and stuff and things like this? You know, she know what she's trying to do. Like she done heard me say, you know, I wish I was dead because I got 3 years to live. All I try to do is I used to be a crack addict years ago and stuff. I try to make up everything I did because that wasn't me being an addict and stuff. I'm an arson investigator for the state, 25 years retired and stuff. And it's just the thing here, I'm in here because of nosebleed. I got people that went and picked her up because she passed out at work because of nosebleed. So how I hate to beat her? The I said, I pulled the cover, like I said, because she had her head over the cover, right? Something she did, I said, pull the cover. I was talking to her first, I said, yeah, so you go to work. That's what I was talking about. You could have rented the car and stuff. She said, so I went to pull the cover off. She said, oh, dang. I'm saying, what up? My grandson, 19 years old, mother. They call me mother. You holler at my grandma. I said, what's wrong with you? I don't raise you from a kid. You're my son kid. I raised you from a baby. Your mama didn't take care of you. You gonna try me like that? He jumped on me not about 3 months ago. Cause me and her sitting up top. He got no house. I'm telling her, look, he don't need to be smoking no weed.
Mr. Taylor. So a few things, and please rest yourself and listen. The police officers that come out to your house or to everyone's house, they're not God. They're not omniscient. They don't know all things. They have a job to do, and they do their job the best way that they can. I do my job the best way that I can. I set bonds for people for offenses that I think maybe it shouldn't be that way, but I have a job to do, and I set bonds and move people along, okay? So everything that you just said to me is something that is a byproduct of whatever relationship is going on between you and Ms. Taylor. And all of us, from the deputies that are standing there, from me to the officers that were called out to that scene, are byproducts of the relationship between you and Ms. Taylor. So hopefully, this isn't going to get repeated.
No, because you know, I got the one divorce on this because I've been into it in the army. Harold Benefield told her, don't bring me back here, you and your daughter with these alive. This man ain't did nothing each time. They told her to do that and stuff. And she know she got my check card. She got everything belonged to me and stuff. I ain't been out my yard in 3 years and stuff. Hassle. Because I can't even walk and stuff. I'm gonna go into the doctor and stuff. So how could I choke her? I can't even, look at my hands right there. When one got cut with a saw and stuff.
Mr. Taylor, just so we can get you out of here, out of the table, to move this along.
Medical stuff.
I understand. I see you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. I've appointed you to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for March 16th. That date is going to get moved once you bond out.
I can't find, she got my charge, everything. She handled all my affairs, the doctors and stuff. That's what I don't understand. How did this happen? There ain't nobody put their hand. I got the person that was do a statement that they picked up for work and brought her home because she passed out. I called them. So I got arrested for her nosebleed, cause she won't take up. But I understand you have the right with that, and people do talk, but it's a sorry ass man, excuse me, to hit a woman and stuff. I don't do nothing like that.
Mr. Taylor, I just would encourage you to kind of read the writing on the wall and kind of.
Oh, I got to hear.
Yeah.
This don't happen too many times. Some will happen and just keep going on. Like I said, I'm not doing nothing. And stuff at my house, that's not, and stuff like this. But the treat you bad and stuff like that, then the guy your medicine, you know, them tell out give them medicines on the bed, the bottle. They get a little pack with nothing but about 3 or 4 pills in it, and they don't know what it is and stuff.
Mr.
Do they
Taylor,
understand? 20% of y'all, I ain't asking nobody to do anything for me stuff, but if I'm not good, since you know, I normally get upset and stuff.
Mr. Taylor, is there anything else I can help you with today? Okay, you're free to go back,
So
sir.
how much you say my bond is?
$5,000.
Is there any way, like I said, I'm on disability, I work or nothing like this, anyway, I just want to go to Augusta, where I'm from, and that's where I was going then, but someone brought some money to me and stuff. Cops wouldn't even let me get my money, it's at the house and stuff, and so I ain't got nothing, you know.
I'm gonna keep it the way that it is, Mr. Taylor. Okay? All right, who's next? Mr. Temple?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. You've been charged with.
I cannot hear you.
Hold it down.
Okay. You've been charged with 1 count of violation of the Controlled Substance Act. I'm setting the bond at $2,500 for that.
You said I've been charged with one count of what?
It's violation of the Controlled Substance Act. It's possession of marijuana.
Marijuana is a controlled substance? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes. It is. They've said it was 47 grams. I'm sorry. Anything more than an ounce in Georgia is considered a felony. So you've been charged with a felony amount of marijuana, but it wasn't that much more than an ounce. So that's why normally I would set this bond at like $10,000.
And how much normally?
Like 10,000. Normally I would set
Wow, yeah.
the amount,
Yeah.
but it's just you had a little bit more than an ounce.
Right.
So it's a possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. I've set the bond at $5,000. And possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, I've set the bond at $10,000. And I've set that bond for that amount consistently, and it's because you should go through the process of getting your rights restored so that possessing a weapon is not an issue.
Yeah, that's because if you notice my felony conviction was in 1995, and I was under the impression that had got expunged. And then also me coming from California, didn't understand the laws of the marijuana. So
Right.
I was just hoping that you consider that when you set my bid.
Well, and I mean, like I said before, I would normally set a felony amount of marijuana much higher than I did. But it just looked as though this was like personal use that was, you know, you go to Sam's Club for a reason, you know.
Right.
So I wasn't gonna ding you for that. If it had been set up and packaged like it was individually for sale, it would have been more. But so you got a total bond of $17,500.
And you can't do nothing considering my felony being so long ago about that reduction.
Let me look.
I haven't got in trouble in so long.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Temple, I'm I'm gonna ask the deputy to have you to step back, and I'm gonna take a look at this, and we'll bring you back up, because we're almost near the end, and I wanna have people just sit around waiting for nothing.
Okay. All right.
All right, you're Mr. Thompson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Thompson, you've been charged with one count of driving a vehicle with no license and one count of an improper lane change. The bond for both of these offenses are set by schedule, and the total bond is going to be $1,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
See if I qualify.
You do qualify, Mr. Thompson. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date of March 16th, but that date is going to get waived once you find out. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Watson?
Wellington.
Okay, Mr. Weather.
Are you Watson? You Watson? Who Watson? Switch out. Here's Watson. I have Watson right here.
Okay.
Hello.
No problem. No problem. Mr. Watson, you've been charged with one count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Bond automatically set at $1,500 for that. One count of running a red light. The bond is set at $500 for that. Possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. The bond is set at $10,000 for that. And possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. The bond is going to be set at $5,000. That brings a total bond of $17,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Kind of like, you were going in and out. How many charges, can you go over the charge or tell me how many charges are we, how many, I didn't know all of them.
Oh, yes, sir. You have 4 offenses. And I hear it's going out. Deputy, can you reduce the volume on your end?
You want me to raise it?
Well, it causes feedback. Like my microphone picks it up, and so it switches over to your camera as is you're speaking.
Oh, I'm not saying, I'm just watching.
Okay. Like, if you repeat the charge, you said the track, can you repeat the charge?
Possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Red light violation. Possession of firearm by a convicted felon. Possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime.
Can you, find the commission of the crime?
Basically,
Possession of firearm commission, or why I ran the red light and had, and the
what it appears is that the crime is the possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
All right, now I was just asking because, as far as the fines and the fees, I resigned, so I resigned, I was a manager at FedEx for 5.5 months. 5.5 years, and I resigned a little bit before the pandemic, and I really just been living off my 401k. I'm supposed to go back to work in like a few weeks, so I really hope I'm able to go. Like I was telling the deputy about this also. So, and as far as the firearm, I went to Cobb County because I'm kind of familiar. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be around. I know I couldn't purchase or carry a firearm, but I didn't know until the deputy last night told me I wasn't supposed to be around a firearm, period. But the firearm that I had is my daughter's mom, and it was in her car. The car is in her name. The firearms is legit. She paid for it. It wasn't like on me. I wasn't toting it around. It was in a case in her car. Her gun was in a case in her car. And I just, you know, I'm not asking you to drop any charges or anything like that. It's just as far as the finances, like if you can like any of the charges, like help me out that way, because due to the pandemic, I haven't really been making this. I haven't really been working, getting too many hours. Like I haven't really been working too much right now. And I know this is not the court hearing, but I don't sell drugs. You know, I'm like.
No, it was less than an ounce.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna set it at $5,000. So that give you a total bond of $12,000.
You said how much?
And I'm sorry for the feedback. 12,000.
And like I said, can you enlighten me a little bit? Because I've been listening to you. Like I said, I went to Cobb County to pay. I paid them to have a record expunged. They sent me the letter in the mail, said that they can't expunge it. I would need a lawyer. So I did. Like you said, I know that I'm a convicted felon and about the firearm. I went to try to buy a firearm. They wouldn't sell it to me because I'm a convicted felon. That's why I went to Cobb County, because I want to carry mine legally. Like my firearm is for protection. I have a wife and daughters. Like if you check my background, I don't really have a background. I don't have drug charges, no robbery, like none of that. Like my firearm is like, it's ours, like protection or whatever the case may be for the family. I drive a nice car, so it's like, you know, I'm not really on anything. Like I'm not really.
Well, yeah, and I'm still hearing feedback, so I'm trying to talk.
And I've been thinking about my record, like for the history. Like I went to Cobb County to try to pay to get it expunged, but I'm gonna need that money for a lawyer. Like I know they told me I'm probably like, some people say you can't get a record expunged, or you're gonna need a certain amount of money to get a record expunged. Like that was me. I was trying to get until now, and I have been in trouble in like 15, like a long time. I haven't been in trouble in a while.
And Georgia is not necessarily an expungement. The Board of Pardons and Parole can your sentence or pardon you, and that means all of your rights are restored. And that's something you can do yourself. Go to the Georgia Board of Pardons and Parole website.
Okay.
Any other questions? Well, do you want to qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
You do qualify, Mr. Watson. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. As a you got a preliminary date of
March 17th.
Yes, sir.
What time?
8:30 in the morning, and it's going to be over Zoom.
March 17th. You said 8:30?
Yes, sir. Any other questions?
So if I bond out, you say that way the court date, that way the court, I don't have to go to court.
Yes.
I have to worry, like, so once I bond out, that's it. What I have to do, like that's it.
You will receive a report in the mail.
I'm sorry. All right.
Okay, you're free to go back, sir.
All right, thank you.
You're Mr. Wethington?
Yes.
Sir, you've been charged with 3 offenses. One is obstructing or hindering a law enforcement officer. I'm going to set the bond at $1,000. The other 2 are related offenses, improper parking, and driving a motor vehicle with hold on, let me, driving a motor vehicle with the suspended or revoked or canceled suspension, I'm sorry, registration.
Oh,
So your total bond is gonna be $2,000. Do we need that bond, sir?
I can't hear you. What you say?
It's gonna be $2,000. Do you believe in your revoke? I mean, you believe you pay that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm setting the preliminary hearing date for March 16th,
What time?
8:30.
8:30, okay. You said March 16th, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Gonna get Wade to find out.
Okay.
You plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the approval?
If I qualify for one.
You do qualify, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Is there anything else, Mr. Webb?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you. Good afternoon, John.
Hi, Mr. Williams. You're Jalen Williams.
Yes, sir.
You've been charged with 4 offenses. Driving a vehicle with an expired tag. Bond's gonna be set at $500. Defective equipment. The bond is also set at $500. Possession of MDMA. Bond's gonna be set at $5,000. And the possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. Bond is also set at $5,000. So that's a total bond of $2,100. Jesus, it's late. I'm sorry. I apologize, Ms. Williams. Do you believe you post that bond, sir?
Yes. I had a question as well.
Yes, sir.
That same, in the same exact spot I got arrested in, I got pulled over in my father's car last Tuesday, and that same weapon that they found, when they found me, they gave me that weapon back last week. So I always just left it in the vehicle. So I really, they warned me to get an understanding of my rights, when I can carry it and when not to carry it. And I was unaware of the other thing that I had. I was just kind of asking, due to my financial situation, can I get a lower bond on the weapons charge?
No, I'm gonna that. It's something that, as you heard, I think before I was setting $1,000 for other individuals. This is not an allegation that you are not lawfully able to bring a firearm. It's just the possession of MDMA. That's what led. So it's something that the reason I'm going to leave the way that it is that, you know, you got to be aware of what you're doing, happening, and that kind of stuff, and that leads to something very forward, and not put yourself in these types of situations.
I have one more question.
Yes, sir.
What about the cracked windshield? Because it was a small, minor crack all on the passenger side.
That's something that can be a defense to that, to the dismissal of those charges.
Is there any way I can get it lowered to the cracked windshield?
I'm like I said, it's unfortunately it's defective. It would have been great if they had given you like about that, right? At this stage, I can't look at it and say, hey, no, all I have to do, and all I'm supposed to is to look and see the proper charge. And at this, that doesn't mean it can't be later.
Okay, and one more time, can you go over the charge, the bond for each charge?
Okay. 500, 500, 5,000. You have a preliminary hearing March 17th at 8:30 in the morning. And are you going to hire your own lawyer, represent yourself? Make a little bit more than I can pay a lawyer per month, and I appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll just get one myself.
Okay. You're welcome. Any other questions, Mr. Williams?
No, sir, that'll be it.
Okay, have a good day.
Judge, Your Honor, who do you need?
Mr. Temple.
Also no. Oh, do you have a white on your list?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a white on your list?
I do not.
Okay. Come on, so.
Okay, Mr. Temple, it does appear as though your last more than 10 years.
You said it appears what?
That your last arrest was 2 years, more than 10 years ago?
Yes, yes.
I am going to reduce this to 5,000.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. But sir,
Yes.
please get your rights restored. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Pardons and parole. Okay, any other questions for me?
No, that's it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're free to go back.
So can you tell me the total bail, so I have a clear understanding?
Well, total 12,500.
Okay, thank you.
Wait. But I'm sure it's advising you. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date for March 17th.
Okay.
And you're hiring your own lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. You're free to go back, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Deputy Durham. Wait, before you go, let's try something.
Okay.
Would you turn the volume down half?
You said turn the volume down?
Yes, on your side.
Okay, that's very good. How's that? Down now.
So can you hear me okay now? Is there any going in and out or?
No, I can hear you now.
It's very low.
It is very low, that's it.
Okay, we're gonna have to when I say we, I mean globally, we are gonna have to figure it out. Either I'm gonna have to develop a deeper voice or we're gonna have to work something so that it's not going in and out, because for whatever reason, it may be reverberating off the wall, or as long as people are hearing me, that's fine. I mean, and you guys are on that side, so you tell me if you think it's a problem or not. Because when people say they can't hear, I take it as they can't hear. But you got me as to what you think is the best way to move forward. I mean, not now, but just kind of what I'm saying.
Okay, I got you. Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And I apologize for keeping you guys here so long.
Fine, thank you.